Okay, hi, my name is Hamza Mari, and this is my presentation for Intro to Machine Learning for the final video. So I'll go ahead and start the slideshow. And I'll just start out by saying I know we chose like a couple data sets that we were like wanting to work on, and I'm glad we did that. I found a couple good data sets that I was interested in. One was on caffeine intake, because I eat a lot of chocolate, has a lot of sugar. It's not caffeine, but like sugar intake, and then also one about basketball. The caffeine data set wasn't as it didn't have as much numerical data as I wanted. So I had that I was going on that for a while, but I'm glad I switched to this. This was a lot more helpful or a lot more useful, and I was able to interpret the data a lot better, and that helped me come up with better models. So just even like the first part of picking correct data sets, this class and like the assignments really helped me understand how to do that, and obviously there's still room for improvement, but my project is kind of basically like improving pro basketball analysis. Uh, how do I? Okay, so yeah, for the data set, as I just talked about, it's basically just about all the NBA players or all the players ha that have been a part of the National Basketball Association, and the person who created the data set updates it pretty much every year. I think the last update was 2023. Still pretty recent. So it has basic information such as like player name, team they're part of, age, weight, height, things like that, but also basic stats such as points, rebounds, assists, and then also more specific stats. Like nobody really looks at true shooting percentage, which is like three pointer, layup, like all the different whatever. They kind of look at individual, but true shooting is very helpful in terms of how the player is, good at scoring. So it has more specific stats too, which I really like. And then I just include like a scatter plot. This is rebounds versus height. So the taller a person is, their rebounds should go up. That's that shows. Okay, so the end product for like a user, we're talking like, monetizing this is drafting better players. So there's been a lot of cases where people got drafted very high and the player just did not play well and it cost the team a lot. Not directly money, but indirectly it cost them a lot of money because they were, banking on this player to be so good and they just didn't work well, or they tried him for a long time. They traded some pieces, traded some players to play for this guy that they drafted to play, play around him, guys that he wanted, whatever. So a lot of money like indirectly kind of goes into choosing the right player. So that's a big thing. So you can save NBA teams a lot of money by analyzing the player better before they draft them. Um, things like you can look at things like increased weight. It could lead to lower rebound percentage because they might be lazier. They have more weight. They don't run around as much. I see that a lot during games. People don't run back and forth if they're a little bit heavier. More chances for the player. Okay, so this is more chances for the players. This stat is called usage percentage. So how often the team uses the player, does that lead to higher points? So you can look at things like that because simply looking at points doesn't tell you, how good the player is because maybe they got very little points and they got a lot of points for those minutes, or they got a lot of points and they got very few uh points for those minutes. So this is just like a mock-up of what the app could look like. So teams could enter in the player's name, their position, things like that, and then also info on their team, like who they're looking for, the number of picks they have for that draft, what positions they're looking for, what height, weight, anything like that, and could just come up with a player um, that's a part of like the draft. Obviously, not just be any player in the world. These are players who have declared to be in the draft. And they can, pick again, whatever. So model building, I thought that the net rating was gonna impact kind of like a lot of the other stats. So net rating is just basically like how good a player is. And that's really what net rating means. So you would think that how good a player is determines like how many points they get, how many assists they get, how many rebounds. But really, a lot of net rating has to do with like impact that's not about points or rebounds, things that don't show up on the stat sheets, like how they help their team. So the what how that contrasted later on was I found that usage percentage was really like what I was looking for, how often the players used more likely determines their stats, just because in the NBA everybody's good. Literally everybody is good, like very, very good. It's just if they have that chance, if the team gives them that chance, if the team makes a play for them or allows them to get the ball, they more often they're gonna like start playing better. So that's what I found, and that was pretty cool to me. Challenges was just kind of there was a lot of outliers in this data set, just because a lot of guys in the NBA they might play for just a few games, or they might play for one season, and they might have like a fluke game, like they might just be randomly be good, or they come in for just a couple minutes and they play terrible. So there was a decent amount of outliers, um, uh, but not too much to where it affected the models a lot. So it wasn't too bad. Current model, my yeah, I say my current one is the K10 like full cross validation model. I use these variables. These just work very well together, and they correlate a lot. So it's just rebounds, assists, net rating, usage. Although I said net rating isn't that influential, it still is like a good determinant. Usage percentage, true shooting percentage. Yeah, and just got the mean RMSE, and then course takeaways. I can't thank both the professor and the TA enough. This is the first class I had at CMU that was like I just loved. I learned a lot in a very short amount of time. Like I didn't know anything about machine learning before, and I learned a lot in this course. Yeah, you guys were, always willing to be understanding, answer questions, and I'll say the flipped classroom model worked well for me. I'll change that typo. Um, yeah, I mean, I knew it would. I'm just that type of like learner. But, just asking questions about the presentation during class it just made sense for me. There was a couple times I had questions and um watching the videos before the class and then asking the questions during the class, it just made sense. So, yeah, and then I work well, doing assignments outside of the course. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the course.